Today, I am breaking down long form or short form. Which should you do? Well, honestly, it really just depends on what your goals are. I actually am a big advocate of long form content. I was watching a influencer the other day, and she is huge on TikTok, like huge. She has 9 million followers on TikTok. And she was talking about how she can make pretty much anything go viral, and she gets pretty good engagement. But what she struggles with is conversions. She has a program that she's selling, and it's on financial advice, and she really struggles with conversions. But she has a much, much smaller following on YouTube, and yet a significantly higher conversion rate for people enrolling in her program. So why do you think that is? I'll tell you why I think it is. Long form, it really gives you the opportunity to go deeper on subjects. It's very hard in short form content when you only have 30 seconds. Everybody has this short attention span. So it might seem counterproductive that long form content would be the way to go. But I don't agree. I think people actually hunger for more information. And long form content gives you the opportunity to expand on your topic. So you can really go deep in explanations, in education. You can do examples. You can show things on your screen. You can do tutorials for software. It's hard to do those tutorials for software in short form content. I mean, you might be able just to do one small thing, but really you have a lot more runway, a lot more bandwidth when you're doing long form content to really help educate people. And educational content is what I'm all about. And I manage a few channels that are educational content channels. And if you are a small business, especially if you're in some type of a service-related business where there is education around whatever it is that you sell. For example, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a mortgage lender, if you're even a title company, maybe you're an insurance, you are an attorney, where you really have things that you can explain to people about the process, I believe long form content truly is the way to go. It's going to be the opportunity not only for you to drive conversions because people are going to be learning something, but it's also just the best way possible for you to showcase your authority. Now, if you think about it, when it comes to short form content, the goal with a lot of short form content for a lot of people is to get attention. And I see people really going in the wrong direction with this, where they're doing like the funny dances and they're trying to entertain people. Maybe they're doing joke things, or they're doing trending audio, or just any kind of a trending viral type thing. And they're like, oh, well, this is going to get me brand exposure. Attention is such a big thing. People are just scrolling, right? Scrolling feed. You got to be doing something crazy to get people's attention in this short form content. And so while it might get eyeballs on your content, unless you have really killer, really focused system for creating educational content, and I do know a few people who do, and they're very clever about how they position their content, and they kill it, they crush it on short form content. But I would say most people, 90% of what I see, especially with entrepreneurs and small businesses, they're just doing silly things to try to get attention. And that doesn't work. So you either have to get more focused because you're talking about your brand. You're really building your brand. So do you want your brand to be known for silly, dancy, fun things or joke things? Is that what your brand is about? Or do you want a platform that really showcases your authority? And again, yes, you can showcase your authority on short form content, but I see very few people who do it well. I know a couple, but very few people do that well. Most of the time, for most people, long form is the opportunity to showcase your authority, to really help people understand your background, to help them understand your credentials, where you're coming from, to show the proof that you know what you're talking about. And also, it gives you the time that you need to fully explain things to people. Again, if you're in a service-related business, Kelly's at Low, I talk about her all the time, mortgage lender, there's so many things to explain about the mortgage lending process that it just works very well for search-based content on YouTube. Especially if you're a real estate agent, you should absolutely be creating long-form content on YouTube. People are searching. They're searching to learn things about cities that they might want to move to. And that is such a great opportunity for real estate agents to talk about different communities, different areas, and be able to showcase their authority. And as I mentioned in my example about the gal who's an influencer on TikTok, but she also has YouTube, and she found that she got higher conversion. Well, that is also the same when it comes to other people with service-based businesses. So Kelly has absolutely gotten business from her YouTube channel. And I know real estate agents who also get business from their YouTube channels. And the leads are much higher quality when it comes from the long-form content on YouTube, because these are people who are actively searching. If you're in mortgage, these are typically people are actively searching to get a loan. They want to buy a home. Or if they're actively searching for a certain area as a real estate agent, or maybe they have a problem and they need some advice, some legal advice. And if you were an attorney and you had this type of legal advice online, it would be an opportunity for you. When they would be calling you, they're like a hot lead. By the way, driving these leads, there's no cost to be on this platform. Obviously, there's a cost for creating content. You always have to keep that in mind, because whether you're doing editing content yourself, or you have a marketing person doing it, or you're hiring out to Fiverr, or you're using Story, my favorite video editor. No, they did not sponsor this video, but check out the description below for my affiliate link. They have editing packages so that you don't have to worry about the time it takes to edit long-form content. I know that is one of the things that tends to hold people back, is because long-form content is much more time-consuming to edit. That's just the truth. That's the truth. But if you hire an editor to do it for you, then you have a great opportunity. It's so much better than paying for leads off of Zillow or other random places. These are high quality organic leads that you get from your long form content on YouTube. Also, when it comes to monetization, the money is really in long form content. There is not that much money in shorts. It just really isn't, okay? You have to get millions and millions of views to make a couple $100, where you don't have to get that many views on long form content and you could be making thousands of dollars. It's a significant difference when it comes to monetization for short form versus long form. You might be wondering, okay, how long is long? On YouTube, anything over 1 minute is considered long form. That would be 1 minute, 1 second. Obviously, that's not really that long. So I tend to aim for around the 10 to 15 minute mark for my long form. But if you have a podcast, there is no better opportunity on YouTube right now than there is for people who have podcasts. Make sure you are video recording your podcast. And by the way, a lot of times the podcast, it just gets videotaped and then it gets put up on YouTube with no editing. I would be definitely doing that. If you have a podcast, make sure you're getting that up on YouTube. There's even a tab in YouTube for podcasts now. And that content is typically going to be 30 minutes, 45, an hour. I've even seen, people 90 minutes crushing it with long form content. YouTube's goal is to keep people on the platform as long as possible. So the more engaging your content is and the longer people are watching it, the more the algorithm is going to promote you and the better that you're going to do on YouTube. What I recommend, especially for people with podcasts who have this 1 hour long content, is that you cut it down to make multiple videos. So you have your 1 hour podcast, then maybe you take a section out of it, that's 5-6 minutes, and then you post that. If you want to have extra content on your channel, leverage your content, get the most out of it by making shorter segments that are still considered long form, 5, 6, 7 minutes. And you can do some under 1 minute. Now, YouTube has a feature that you can link to the long form video in the short. So that's something I highly recommend. I know YouTube is always working on helping people get more eyeballs on their long form content from shorts. Don't think that there's a lot of data right now that supports that short form content really drives to long form content, but couldn't hurt, right? Couldn't hurt. So that's my take on long form versus short form. I hope you got something out of it today. Let me know your preference. Are you about short form or are you about long form? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe, join me on this YouTube journey, and let's do this together.